was honestly like pretty nervous when I walked into this garage. It's not really the usual space that I would shoot in. I don't know if this is gonna work. We're just gonna experiment a little bit. I was just gonna try and do like a silhouetted shot, so like her profile maybe, and then if I can get a grid for the softbox, then I might just like light her hair from the back slightly as well. Get some cool shadows going on. You only have one grid, right? I'm just gonna try just backlighting you and shooting just from this angle, like from like me out there. Okay. Is there any way we can turn off that light? Like the garage light? It's just like showing up behind and I kind of want the background to just fall off. Hello, vibes.
Ooh.
Gorgeous, right?
Yeah, I love the light.
Give me that like really power focus. When I first started shooting, I had lit her hair a little bit from the side and I got this like beautiful little bit of a hint of a halo. Do you want to see? And I think when I fully embraced that and put the light behind her hair and really like lit it from behind, that's when the photos started really working for me. I think that it went really, really well and I'm really excited for the final photos. I'm obsessed with that. Maybe just a couple more and then I'm good. This experience really reminded me that sometimes less is more and you really only need a very minimal setup to get very creative. We did it!
Yes.
I'm super excited. I feel like I was like still testing the waters on the first light setup, but the second one nailed it. So I'm really happy. I'm super excited to get these onto my laptop and start editing.
Oh.
We're not questioning ourselves at all.
And now I'm going to try.
I'm excited to see what you do. Let's go. All right, who's up next? Over to you.
I'm going to try to use artificial lighting the same way that I use natural light. So I'm going to try to make it look like a sun flare coming into the slats of the garage. I should have said garage.
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 Garage. The garage.
The garage.
We're gonna shoot the garage.
The garage. I'm gonna put the garage half down so that it's not fully closed, so I get a little bit of natural light from the bottom, and then I'm gonna have it just peeking through so it's like the sun setting through one of the slats. And see how that looks? But I don't know what I'm doing. So this is how I would use natural light. I would backlight my subject and I would try to get flare. It's really important that the height of your flash is in the right spot. I found the most dynamic photos, and to get that really dreamy flare was to have a bit of that light poking through the top of her head or off to the side. I think I just need to bump this up a tiny bit too.
A little intimidated. No, they're crushing it. It's pretty cool to see like a random spot turn into so many cool photos. So I'm excited to shoot, but I've been really enjoying watching what they're doing. So
I love it. Oh. My thought process when I first stepped into the garage was, wow, there's a lot of stuff. Right away saw the slats, thought maybe I can mimic sunset if I put a light behind and have a gel on it and light the model in a backlight way. And then just for an extra bit of fill, just have a softbox in front. It was important to control the light to get exactly what I wanted, and I didn't want any side light coming in and competing with that. I knew that if I put a grid on the flash, I'd have that very directional light and I could really mimic that sunset look. That's what I did, and I'm really happy. Cool, okay.
all around. I have no idea if this is gonna work. I'm excited to kind of try in a space like this to do something really cool with movement. Okay, I think we found the angle I like. Dang. I like what it's doing with the light. Let's see if we can backlight your hair.
Okay.
Having the constant light on allowed me to position that backlight a little bit better, kind of see where exactly her hair was getting lit. And then that allowed me to use the on-camera flash to freeze Tazy in the frame and then play with the light just to really get creative and kind of play with that shutter drag for some really kind of creative results. Hopefully, in my mind at least, it was to kind of make the garage a little more magical or add a little bit of a creative effect to something that, you know, obviously in and of itself is a little bit drab.
These are gonna be good.
Bouncing off the wall.
You can tell by your little dancing.
I know.
it was a good reminder that the lights work really well with just the modeling light as well. And so even though I was playing a lot with the flash, I think the aha moment came for me when I realized that I'd found a really good composition that I liked.
Yeah.
And then just simplifying and just using that as a bit of a hair light to enhance the light that was coming through the garage door, like underneath. And I think it gave me a really good mix of ambient light with that little bit of pop that I think added the wow factor, that little extra that I definitely didn't have just with the natural light. We wouldn't get this hair light with the light that's coming from underneath the garage door. The combination I really like. I think I really pushed myself to try for things that I maybe wouldn't have tried for if I didn't have the lights. I'm excited about how they both turned out. I really like these.
Yeah, that backlighting.
I think we got something.
I looked at this situation, and when I first saw how you set it up, without even seeing what was happening in camera, I was like, oh, Kate's gonna kill this. This is proof like that you're so much better than you think you are. This, like, I could see this, you know, in a perfume ad or anything like this. It's like flawless but organic. Like, I don't know, you just have such a way with shooting.
Oh, thank you guys so much.
Like, dang.
Wow.
It doesn't even, it looks like you're in the studio, of course. Like, of course you take a garage and turn it into like what looks like a perfectly lit like studio portrait. Yeah. I'm just like, Kate just brought the studio like wherever she goes. That's incredible.
Kate, this is so good. This is so beautiful.
Yeah.
You are the queen. Fall off in her hair, that like dreamy effect, but like how sharp her eyes and everything are, like.
Yeah, it's blended perfectly, and I love the way that you grab the little bit of shadow too. The softbox used in the front really kind of lightens those shadows, but you still get that nice mix of light and shadow there, so.
Yeah, definitely very different for me. As I said, like I usually am sort of a one light wonder kind of girl. I'm really, really happy. I love this shot. Equipment is amazing. I mean, Profoto's so easy to use. It's kind of foolproof. I definitely use like bigger light sources normally. Using that smaller softbox was really, really effective. And I loved being able to use the gels and add just a bit of warmth behind her. That's not something I would normally do, but I'm excited to use it more in the future. Ooh.
Dang, that does look like the sun.
It totally does. Like that is not whatever it was, 2 p.m. that is like right before the sun setting. That is stunning. I love that. That's so beautiful. Beautiful. It's very like evocative and emotional. And I mean, how you got that in a garage. You are truly talented.
Thank you.
This really feels like sunset with the way that it caught her hair there, like the way the light broke. It's insane how closely the way you were able to capture that simulates natural light. I feel like the average person would not be, if you didn't tell them that this was shot with a flash through the door, you would not have a clue.
I love the little rim light around her sweater as well. Like I just think it just like adds to that, the angles and the composition. Not natural light. It looks so much like a sunset.
Great work, Nicole. Those are stunning.
Guys, I actually, it's so funny watching that back because I look so confident in what I'm doing and I had no idea what I was doing. Shooting with harsh light in the front, that's not at all my style. My style is very much so backlit. So I knew I had to create that somehow, and I just didn't want it to be like a really strong source of, I was photographing her in a space and the sun was setting behind her. And with the gel, I was really happy with like the tone and color of it. Like I thought it looked realistic. I think I just was imagining in the perfect scenario, the sun would set like where the garage was, and then I could backlight her in that space. The only way for me to shoot in a way that came across as natural was for it to mimic the sun setting somewhere. So that's where I was like, okay, well then the thing that makes the most sense is if the garage was shedding and it's like coming through the slab. I was pleasantly surprised at how realistic it looked. And I remember after shooting it, I'm like, I can't wait to get on my computer to see what it actually looks like. And it truly did look like sunset peeking through the garage slats.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I love the movement. That drag is amazing.
I was so interested to see how the drag effect would look in the garage.
Yeah, me too. That's really cool. I like how the drag kind of like echoes in the lines of the garage too, so it's kind of going right through. It almost looks like she's sort of still and everything else is moving behind her. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's so rad. This could be like an Adidas ad or like a shoe like fashion ad or something. Like,
I just love how like different all of ours are. That's
I know.
amazing. Like what even was that? It's like a halo or something.
It happens when you're playing with the drag, right? I think that was, that's the actual light behind her. That was kind of what I was trying to go for, was this sort of like ethereal kind of blur, but like her very much in focus. So
it's got some sort of like impressionist painterly aspects out of it. I feel like almost sort of some brush strokes.
This is dope. This one's my favorite.
I liked this one because it was one of the few where I felt like I was really getting that emotion that I usually try and push for. So this one was a little simpler, but I was really happy with the way it just kind of focused on her,
This is a prime example of people that I look at who use lighting that I'm always so intimidated or impressed with when they can make hard light look soft. And it's the perfect mix of hard and soft for me.
Thanks, guys.
Well done.
Sometimes you shoot something and you look at it on camera and you're like, these are going to be sick. And then you get them into like your editing and you're like, they're not as awesome as I remember them being. And with these, it was kind of like I kind of was like, I don't know if I have anything. I'll be honest, I was like coming up and then getting them into post editing and I started to throw some edits. So I was like, oh, you know what? Like, there's something here. Like I think there's a few that turned out that I'm happy with. So I don't think I would have changed anything because I learned a lot, and it even kind of sold me a little bit on the flash itself, or even like recognizing the asset that something like that can be. So
like truly, now that I've done this and I've seen, like, if I was ever in a situation where weather wasn't cooperating on any location, indoor, outdoor, anything, like the power of having lighting like this has sold me.
After this, like shooting outdoor in some of those spots, even just like little subtleties like shadow, where having that light blast on a face it kept it natural, right? Versus like sometimes people use reflectors or you're using some of this stuff can look like you just blasted a reflector on someone's face, and it's so much harder to control.
I can totally see the value, especially living in a city like Vancouver where it is like dark and gloomy and, dark at like 3 p.m. most of the year. It's so nice to have that flexibility and to be able to control the light.
I think I need to build some of this into my work, or like at least have something on hand for those scenarios like we kind of found ourselves in.
I truly went into this challenge being like, this is not my thing. I don't use lights. Like, this whole thing proved to me how powerful it is to have that control and like how much you can change a location because of it. So lighting like this has sold me on wanting to invest in the lights itself.